Good morning. It is hot at this time of year, y'all. We are at the end of June and our humidity has gotten us over into the hundreds and I'm sweating inside. That means it's time to change the homestead to accommodate the heat and humidity. And we're going to be talking about some lessons learned and regrets. So after this brief moment, we will be back to have a discussion, and we're going to be doing some baking today. I'm going to be doing some pre-baking. So let's start our day with each other and a nice cup of coffee. Okay, y'all, so it is, like I said, this is the end of June and we are going into July. So with that means that we start getting super hot. Currently, it is a little over 10 o'clock and we are already up in the upper 90s. This is awful. So I try to minimize as much heat as I possibly can in the house to keep the ACs, because we've got window ACs and I don't want them overworking. So that means I have to create meals that are either more geared for outdoors or slow cooker, and try to minimize as much as possible on the oven, and I can do some stovetop occasionally. So this is my goal. I have lesson learned for the last 6 years of living here. I have yet to do that, and I'm bound to do it this year. So that is one of the lessons learned. Regrets. Those are good ones, and I have one that I regret so dearly right now, it's killing me, but not all is lost. So I'll be right back. Okay, so what you see right here, yes, you are seeing 2 bags of store-bought flour. One thing I said, I will not have in this house again. Remember, I'm talking about regrets. So I thought I would just go ahead. I went to a place where I bought a loaf of sourdough, because y'all, I've been missing sourdough bread so badly. And I paid like $7 for this loaf of bread. And honestly, it did not taste like sourdough that I know. There was actually no distinct sourdough flavor to this bread at all. It actually tastes like white bread. So I kind of got disappointed. Now, I told you I was making fresh milled, and mind you, I'm not giving up my fresh milled. That is not in the category. However, the sourdough is, and this is the lesson I learned through my regret. I could absolutely make a starter through the fresh milled. The issue that I had with it, though, is because fresh milled is exactly what it says. It is fresh milled. Therefore, you get everything from the bran, wheat germ, all of this. Where in store-bought, this does not happen. They remove all of that, so it becomes shelf-stable. In the process of doing this and becoming shelf-stable, it can also sit on your counter, where fresh milled actually can't. What I have ran into, whether it was in my refrigerator or whether it was on my counter, it molded. And there was no way I could use this, y'all. And I tried every method. Plus, we have some extreme humidity, and that does not work well. So my regret is I had a little over a year old, oh my goodness, big container full of sourdough starter that made the most amazing sourdough bread, along with that distinct sourdough flavor, and I gave it away in the midst of getting into fresh milled flour. I tend to go crazy like that sometimes and just giving away, saying, oh, I'm not doing this no more. And I evidently, at times, not all the time, but there are some times like now, I regret doing what I did. So today, when it comes to sourdough starter, I am going back to the true method that worked for me. Now granted, I'm going to have to do this all over again, but I will get my sourdough flavor. I will get my sourdough bread. Now when it comes to making the bread, I can use this starter with fresh milled, and it will work absolutely fine. I need the starter, and in order to do that, I have to use store-bought. So I can mix this in with fresh milled and still get the many benefits from the fresh milled, but the starter will make it easier for me to keep on my shelf or my refrigerator, and I won't have it molding on me. And to the point, I tried this 3 times, y'all, and all 3 times it just, I was wasting some good grain. So I'm just going to go back to what was tried and true. And I thought I had saved some dry mix, and honestly I didn't. I ended up giving that away too, evidently. So we're going to start all over once I establish it to the right flavor of sour that I need, and I will know that when I start baking with it with the discard. I will have that flavor that I'm looking for. I will no longer have to buy it and be disappointed like I am now. I don't know why people are afraid to have that sour taste, but to me it tastes amazing. But I understand that there's a lot of people that like it more mild. Some don't want to taste it, so I am one that wants to taste it. If I'm going to have sourdough, I'm going to have sourdough. So that is one thing that we're going to be doing today. I need to get that started, and I'm also going to be using my sourdough kit that I had showed you guys a while back. This thing was amazing. I love this jar. I love this kit, so we are definitely going to be bringing this out. I cannot wait to bake with the rest of it as well. So, and when I do, you know it's coming up here for you guys. I can put the link up here again for you as to where I got this information and where I got this. But yeah, I cannot wait to start this again. I've been anxious all weekend. A couple other things we're going to do. I have more green beans to can, but as far as major canning on beans and all that, y'all, I'm set. And frankly, I can wait until fall to can beans, dried beans. I do not need to do that now. The pressure canner can emit a lot of steam and heat into the house. I am basically set on a lot of things for our shelf that I really don't need to do any more canning. I do have some corn that we are going to be doing, which I will do that with you as well, and I'll show you how we do this. I can get from one of the Amish folks around here. They grow the most amazing corn on the cob, and I think it's 50 ears for $18. So we're going to get we're going to get 2 bags of that corn and can it and put it on our shelf. As far as everything else, we got plenty of green beans. I do have a lot of tomato sources, so I want to go through what I have before I do any more. Now, I do not have ketchup, so if I do purchase tomatoes, it will be to make homemade sugar-free ketchup. Let's see, things like that is what I need. I may go ahead and do some more mushrooms because we absolutely love the way, personally, I tried both dehydrating and canning mushrooms, and I frankly like the canned mushrooms more than I like the dehydrated. The dehydrated, when it reconstituted, it was kind of like a rubbery texture, and I just didn't enjoy that. But the canned one, I mean, it had it was nice, very nice, and we both enjoy it. So we're gonna go back to doing that. I have some cucumbers, but I don't really like pickled cucumbers on my shelf. Now, what I plan on doing with that though is making a Clausen copycat refrigerator pickle. And when I do that recipe, I'm gonna do this with you. There is one other thing I do want to try. I want to do at least one batch of dilly beans. I have been told to try that it's the best thing ever. So we're going to try at least one batch of dilly beans to see if I like them. We are getting beans coming in like crazy, y'all. So, and that's green beans. Let's see. As far as the rest of the pantry, I may have to get some more tuna and stuff like this, but for the most part, y'all, I'm going to go through what I have on my stocks. I don't want to leave this food sitting there forever and not using it. We need to use it. So I am not going to add more to it. I'm just going to use what we have until there isn't no more, and then I will go ahead and restock with a whole new batch. I just don't feel like having all that food sitting on my shelf. And like I told you, for me, I try not to go over 2 years, because after this point you start decreasing in nutrients, coloring, vitamins. It does start degrading, and I don't want degraded food. So, and to me that's a waste. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to add a few extras, but for the most part, my canning room is set for winter. Like I said, I do have dried beans, but honestly, I can even throw some of them into the crock pot. I do have some that I do want to make it super easy, like black beans and that. So we will do a full round, and that's what I'm going to do, is because all dried beans are processed at the same time. I'm going to have variety in my canner, and this way I can do one full canner of different variety beans, and then I will be good, such as black beans, which we love in our Mexican bowls. I do love my hummus, so that would be chickpeas. We both love our butter beans, and we do them with our Spanish style. As far as cooking, I am actually going to learn how to use the griddle. Now, my husband usually does all the barbecuing, but there are times he works late, and I really don't want to crank up the oven and that, so I'd rather go out there and use the griddle. Now, I am working on cool weather, or not cool weather, but hot weather food in the Mediterranean ways, such as, for instance, we're having a chicken meatball bowls. Now, bowls, when I talk about that, it's like having a gyro bowl. Here's an example. We can use pieces of meatballs or whatever, and I can add some cucumbers, some tomatoes, some purple onions, tzatziki sauce, and some pita on the side that you can turn around and tear and put the mix on it, and then you have a bowl, not just a pita with a gyro. So we're going to have this, and I found a recipe I absolutely cannot wait to try. It is a tomato salad, and it is a recipe from Turkey. I cannot wait to try this, because with this chicken salad, or the chicken bowl tonight, I cannot wait to try. This is going to compare or pair so well with that chicken meatballs. So we're going to have this, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do that recipe with you today. It is hot. The tomato salad will work perfect with this. And what I need to bake. Now, this is going to cause me to turn my oven on. In times like this, so occasionally I do have to bear it, because what I'm doing is a massive bake. I do baking all in one day, which consists of, we are out of tortillas, so I need tortillas. We are out of naan bread, or pita, either one. Those are great for our bowls. I had made recently sub rolls, and oh my god, y'all, those sub rolls were amazing. And what I used in that recipe was, I used soft white wheat, and einkorn. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. They were super, super soft. The Italian subs that we made, it was Italian Chicago style roast beef and dipped in au jus. That bread soaked up the au jus sauce like it was it was crazy good. So, but that recipe originally was to make hamburgers and hot dog buns. That's what we're going to do with it too. And I believe because it came out so well, I am going to use the half and half soft white wheat and einkorn and use that same grains to make my buns, and then I'm going to pre-freeze them because we do plan on making, y'all, I will show you if you have not learned how to do that. If you are the type who like to go to McDonald's and have a Big Mac, or if you're like the ones who like to go to Burger King and have a Whopper, I make these homemade and they taste so close to the restaurant. However, it's made with real meat, and so they taste slightly different but so much better. And so I'm going to need the buns to be able to make those type of hamburgers, and they will be grilled. So this is what we have coming up. I do have some recipes that we're going to be working on with Mediterranean bowls. We're going to be working on some Mexican dishes, some Chinese dishes, and a lot of these are going to be used on the griddle and preparing our food outdoors. Someone had asked me when we go camping, and that's when we can get the chance to go camping. Absolutely, yes. I will be doing videos on how we camp outdoors and cook outdoors. And that's partly the reason why I'm also working on cooking outdoors instead of on our electric stove as much as possible for the summer. It isn't just for the summer, y'all. What this is going to show you is, should you lose your power, should there be for some reason you absolutely need another way of cooking, whether it be survival or not, we all need to learn a different way to cook than our ordinary kitchen stoves. We really do. So my segments in cooking are going to include this so that there are other options and we don't have to use as much power. A matter of fact, that's the other thing I'm going to cut down, because honestly, we use 3 ACs in this house. Our community has really, they like to jack up our rates at this time of year. We have a $241 electric bill right now, and so we are looking to cut our costs. One of the biggest way we can cut our costs is using the use of this stove and oven. Now I can use a crock pot, and that's going to decrease the amount of electricity coming from it. I can use my griddle outdoors, and that will completely take us basically off grid on our cooking and have the most amazing flavor in our food, plus so much healthier. So there's that. But I will have to, like now, when I need my bread sources, because again, I try not to buy it if I don't have to. Now, I have done that. Like I said, I did my sourdough. I was disappointed it just didn't taste like it, so I'm just going to make my own. But there are times I do have to use my oven, like now. But when I do, I'm going to be wiser by cooking in bulk. If I got to bear the heat, I might as well do it in bulk. And that's what we're going to do. So that means I will double my recipes to make more. Then I will take what we have and we're going to freeze them and use them as we go. I like that method. It has worked amazingly for me with my sandwich bread and everything else. And when I made, oh my goodness, y'all, we made a zucchini bread that was, oh, so good. It was made for a diabetic, and it was actually a banana zucchini. The zucchini came from our garden, and the banana flavor was actually an extract because my husband can't actually eat bananas. And then we had sugar substitute. You could not tell that this was from a diabetic, but it was fresh milled. It was, oh my gosh, so good. So, I have a lot to do. I do have more baking I want to do. We like our cookies, and fresh milled cookies have been so good, and we use substitute sugar, so this works. We try to keep it healthier. So we've got all of this coming up. I know I've not been in the kitchen much, but y'all, we've been trying to get things done around here and trying to enjoy life. Next Monday, y'all, unless I try to have a pre-recorded video for you, I won't have a video because I have a dentist appointment. It's going to take an all-day process because we are getting fitted for our permanent. We are now, see, April, May, June, going on July, going on 3 months of having work done on my mouth, and so these things are so big right now, it's really crazy. I can't even use any adhesive to hold them in. They are I am so ready for my permanent, but we have to go through the fitting. So that's the next step, but it's going to be an all-day thing because they know that I can't keep running back and forth all the time. I'm not sure if I'm getting my permanent that day or if I have to wait. We're going to see, but that is next week, Monday, on July the 1st. And then we have the holidays coming up, so that's what we're doing right now, catching up on things. Now, when I go to baking my bread, that is going to be a segment in this video all on its own. So we will be working in the kitchen today. So you will see me in this same shirt. I am breaking these videos down for you so we don't keep it all in one thing. So I know y'all would appreciate that. So that one with baking will probably be uploaded tomorrow. So at this point, we got some work to do. I'm going to start with getting my sourdough starter started because this absolutely needs to get done. So we're going to go ahead and get this started, and I will see you very, very soon in the kitchen. I love you. Mwah. Much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.